wearing garnet from head to toe, and the home team as this ball is picked up by Marion Reeves, and Reeves with a head of steam plows over the would-be tackler and is knocked down at the 39-yard line.
John, you get railroaded on the opening kickoff. That was a great job by Reeves. Sets a nice tone for your team.
Let's take a look at the starting offense for the home team. And first we're going to take a look at the play one more time. A big run, good field position starting out for Bayonne.
Now, Reeves caught the short kick, John. We get a nice close look at him. And he just got what they tell the up man all the time. You get the short kick, you get what you can get. And he certainly does a great job of that as he absolutely lays out the Union defender.
The Bees will start out in the I formation, and it'll be right up the gut. Terrence Glover starting at fullback, picks up 6 yards on first down, and that'll bring up a second down and 4.
John, we talked about getting the fullback established and for either team, and Bayonne looking to do that right away with Glover, probably their best overall ball player this year.
So a 6-yard gain, and of course, Union having to be very aware of the option with quarterback Joe Christopher taking over for Jamal Lord, who was graduated and gone on to play for Nebraska, the backup quarterback. And on the second, and a fumble, and it's picked up by Jason Kriegmer, and he is going to go the distance for the touchdown. And on the second play from scrimmage, the Farmers have taken a 6-0 lead.
Oh, wow. Just like that, John. It's extremely quiet in this stadium right now. The only thing you hear is the Union sideline. Looked like a missed exchange. I believe it looked like it was supposed to be a freeze option, and there was just a bad exchange on it. That can be a dangerous play. Bayonne did not handle it well, and Kriegmer, the standout player, really got a lot of assist on that. We'll take a look at it again. Well, he caught the end of it. You see Kriegmer going in from the 7-yard line. He took it a lot further than that, but he was in the right place at the right time, John. He didn't do anything special on that play that I saw, except pick it up and run it in.
So it appeared to be a box exchange as you look at the head coach of the Bayonne Bees, John Rickard, and obviously displeased with what just transpired. And in a game where you come in as an underdog, Paul, you certainly don't want to make mistakes, and you definitely don't want to make mistakes like that.
No, John, that's a real dagger in the heart early in the game. You come up all pumped up, and Union gets another break as that kick goes through off the left upright. You come in all pumped up, John, and you want to get things going good. They got a nice kick return, a good first down play from Glover, and then a disaster strikes early in the game. And now we're going to see right away. This is a Bayonne group that's supposed to be very resilient, and they've been a good group since they were freshmen and sophomores, and now as juniors. We're going to see what they're made of right away.
So the 46-yard fumble return for a touchdown by Kriegmer, who was highlighted in the opening. So great foresight by my broadcast partner to pick Kriegmer, but really, we were talking about his...
Actually, before I did.
Don't tell anybody that. But really talking more about his prowess on offense, and here he is on defense making the big play.
I'd like to know what he squats, because he looks like he's got about 26-inch size, this kid.
He's a very well put together young man, and in his senior year has struck a big blow here early on, as we are just 50 seconds into this contest. The Union Farmers on top by a score of 7-0 as night falls here at a very windy Don Ahern Stadium. And the Don, known for its wind throughout the years, a very windy place late in the season, but for the last few years, Paul, covering the Bees, we've had some awful warm nights early in the season, but this one would qualify as an October evening.
Yes, it would, but it's pleasant, it's comfortable. It's a lot better than when you're here in November. Oof.
And this one is boomed to the back of the end zone and out, so a much better kickoff this time. And that was David Rodriguez doing the kicking, the sophomore. And now will be 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Bees.
John, that was 68 yards in the air. I know there is some wind, but I mean, that's a heck of a kick. And Rodriguez, realizing that the short kick gave him no benefit, let this one go. And now we're going to see if the Bees can get it going again. As you see, Coach Rickard got to be upset right now, John. Coaches are warriors. Everyone that I know, even the great ones, the mediocre ones, the ones who aren't so good, they're all warriors. And that's one of the things you worry about most, is having a play backfire early in the game.
Well, the Bees now has a chance to regroup. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and on the, I guess you would call that the dive option, Glover with no luck stood up after a yard gain.
The dive option, John, or a freeze option. You see Syracuse run that play very well. Yeah, and it's a tough play because sometimes you run the option or the trap. You run the trap or the option, and they work off each other. And what might have happened on that last play is they had the option play in, and Glover may have just tightened up on the ball a little bit too much and knocked it out. That is a problem with that play.
And the Bees a little bit slow getting out of the huddle. And it'll be second down, and looks like they gave him 2 yards on that. Rich Mataretti, the referee, heading the crew. That includes his son. Now on the option, the late pitch, ill-advised. Loose football, flag goes down. And it'll be a big loss on the play. About a 12-yard loss if the play stands, and you'd have to think it probably will be against the offense.
Union had that play covered very well, John, and yeah, it was not a good decision by Christopher to pitch that ball. But, you know, it's your first game out there at quarterback, a lot of pressure in your face, and, you know, you're bound to do things. I know last week, in our game at Lincoln against Thirst, we did the same thing. We had a new quarterback in there. We run a lot of option, and, you know, those things happen with an experienced quarterback. As the game gets better, you'll see Bayonne get better at that.
And a holding penalty that is declined, as you see the tail end of the play, and quite possibly the hold. And that puts Bayonne in a very difficult third down situation. It'll be 3rd and 20. Again, as we mentioned, the quarterback is Joe Christopher, Tony Freed, the center. Chris Helinsky, the guard, along with Phil Saladin. So up front, those are the guys that have to get it done. Duval Cheatham is checked into the game, and that one a little bit short, intended for Alex Parker. So it'll be 3 and out for the Bees as they shuffle quarterbacks. Joe Christopher off to a rough start, and the young man Duval Cheatham comes in and doesn't fare much better.
Well, Cheatham is listed, John, as the little bit more proficient passing quarterback, so you may see him more on passing downs, but that makes things tough too because it tells the defense a little bit of what you may be doing. And of course, that was a definite passing situation. But Bayonne will have more balance on offense this year. You can bet on that. Looks like Union may be coming for the block here, John.
Darius Hill will do the kicking for the Bees. Rob Picarillo awaits at the 44 of the Bees, and a good kick from Hill. And Picarillo will let that bounce. Now picks it up as he's traveling backward on a hop, and he earns his way back into Bee territory. And he'll take over about the 48-yard line, just about where he would have caught it had it been kicked to where he was standing originally.
John, you're going to see a lot of good special teams plays from Bayonne, and it doesn't happen by accident. They work probably harder than any team in the county on special teams. As you see the replay, and a great punt, John. You backed up to your own end, and you get the ball back out to the 48-yard line, and great coverage by Bayonne coming down the field. You know, that's a great weapon, and Bayonne works very hard, as I said, harder than anybody probably in the county, and Tom Kachansky gets a lot of credit for that, as does Coach Rickard, because he gives Tom so much practice time to work on special teams.
First play from scrimmage for the Farmers. They're ahead 7-0 as Picarillo goes in motion. And on the first play from scrimmage, it's the upback who gets the call. Gains about 3. That's Phil Lays who gets the carry. Terrence Glover was in there to make the stop. And let's see who else gets up off the pile. So Tony Freed had some push on the inside.
Well, Bayonne had the play covered, John, no question. It was slanting right into the action. However, you know, Union on the notoriously year after year has very strong running backs. We saw it last year, and very tough to bring down on one hit.
Up front for the Bees, it's Tom Kuchansky, Marion Reeves, Phil Saladin, Anthony Salerno, and Kurt Bullwitz. Glover and Freed, and there's a loose ball, a scramble right at the line of scrimmage, and the Bees seem to think they have it, and they do. So the turnover by the Farmers, with the Bees trailing 7-0, and the Bees have made a big play on defense.
Get a nice look at Rickard there. John, maybe a little bit too close for his liking. You see the play that he's calling. Hopefully the other team doesn't have a monitor. Quarterback just pulling out too soon, John. It was supposed to be a trap, and the quarterback pulls out too soon. Not too many good things happen. It might have been a mistake on the count and the timing, and that's something you very rarely see Union do. But Bayonne now with good field position. And go back to that punt for helping us set things up for them.
Duval Cheatham will stay in the game, and he will keep it on the outside looking to throw. Now throws downfield, and Parker had cut that route a little bit short. Cheatham overthrows him, and it'll be a 2nd down and 10. Mike Devlin, by the way, the quarterback, who came out a little bit early on that previous play.
Play action pass, John, but good pass rush regardless by the Union Farmers. A good read as the left defensive end for the Farmers. Actually, the outside linebacker, Phil Lave, got through there. never fell for the fake and put some pressure on, and that made things tough.
That'll make it second down and 10 with the wind seemingly blowing in the Bees' face, and the kick by Fernandez, the second kickoff, would attest to that as that one went out of the back of the end zone. 9:07 left to go, first quarter. He's trailing by 7. Cheatham pitches it outside. Hill loses the handle, and the Bees may have recovered. So a very sloppy start on offense for Bayonne.
Yes, it is, John. It wasn't really that bad. The pitch was a little bit behind the running back, but he's got to keep his hands on the football. And Hill could not hold it. And thus far, one of Bayonne's key weapons is not working for them, John, the option game.
Want to remind fans that Hammer Post Savings Bank, Bayonne's community bank, will once again, as you see the replay, and Cheatham with a pretty good pitch. Looked like Hill just took his eye off.
Had a good pitch, John, but they didn't get a real good mesh on the fake, and that helped cause a problem because Union reacted to the play better. Got to make a little bit better faking it.
Third down and 14 yards to go for a first down. They give it to Glover, the first man through. He is bounced back, and that is Jason Creekmer with the big hit. No gain on the play, and it'll be fourth down.
And John, anybody around this county will tell you that Terrence Glover is one of the strongest players, even though at 190. But Creekmer just hit him like he was 120. I mean, this kid is like unbelievable. As I said, I'd love to see what his squat totals are.
Now, you know, Paul, trying to get a gauge on the wind, and it should be significant because it is a strong wind, but come to think of it, Hill had a pretty decent kick, what would seem like into the wind. That one may have been cut down a little bit by it as it takes a bounce. A friendly bounce for Bayonne, and it will die at the 23-yard line. So if nothing else, the Bees have swung the pendulum of field position as Union will now start near their own 20.
That's very important, John, too, because Union is a ball-control team, and they're a team that doesn't normally score off explosive plays. They like to grind it out. So if you can get an advantage in field position and make them work, you can win that war of field position. And those are things like teams like Union and North Bergen to their opponents, where they keep you hemmed in, play great special teams, and play good defense. Well, the special teams have done their part this one. Now we got to see if the defense can follow suit.
So it'll be a first and 10 for Mike Devlin and the Farmers. They lead 7-0 with 7:40 remaining first quarter. Opening game of the season for both teams, and nothing doing in the backfield. Kurt Bolwith smelt that. Alex Parker came in to help out, and also Anthony Salerno, a loss of 3 on the play.
Bolwith just flashing in, John, from his outside linebacker spot and creating a lot of havoc in there. And if Union continues to run into Bolwith's side from that open outside linebacker position, they're going to have a tough time. I think you're going to see Union have more success inside here tonight. They match up much better with the size of their line. I mean, they're huge inside.
And it was actually Joe Christopher who made the play, was in on the play. It wasn't Alex Parker, so my apologies to Joe. And it'll bring up a second down and 13 yards to go for a first down, nearing the midway mark of quarter number 1. Cicarillo goes in motion, and he will get the call. And he barely gets back, maybe a yard past the original line of scrimmage, but it'll be a third down and long for the Farmers.
Traditionally, Union not a good passing team, John, and here we get another look. There's an audible at the line of scrimmage, it looked like, John, by Picarillo. And it was a power to the left side, and Joe Christopher came up and made a great hit. Reacting just the way he should to the down block. You see a down block in front of you, you come up and fill if you're playing the outside. And that's what Christopher did.
So now an obvious passing situation for the Farmers, and they will not pass the football, and it'll be a handoff for first down yardage. Getting the call on that play was number 1, not a starter. It was Greg Point de Jour. May have caught the Bees by surprise a little bit and picked up the first down.
Well, not just that, John. They got tremendous push on that play from the inside of their line there. Center and right guard. Take a look at the inside of the line here for Union as they just totally obliterate the nose guard from Bayonne. They just straight dive with a double inside, and that was the reason for that big gain.
But the Bees did have that play stopped short of a first down had they been a little bit more sure with their tackling, but not the case. And right up the middle, good-sized hole, Phil Lays tripped up at the 40-yard line, but he picks up 4 yards on first down.
That fullback trap that Delaware teams run, and the good teams run it very well, and they'll try and set you up before the Rock sweep, the Delaware sweep with that trap. So look for Union. Although Union likes to run their sweeps tight, they look to turn it up quick. They're not without Knox in there. They don't get that kind of outside speed.
So that makes it a 2nd down and 6. They need to get across to the 46-yard line in order to pick up a first down. Picarillo goes in motion and a flag goes down. And there may have been some type of motion on the line of scrimmage, as the referee and his mates will confer and then give us a decision as Union marches backwards. So the indication would be it is against them.
Bayonne looking to come with a stunt there, John, and sometimes when you roll up 7 and 8 people on the line of scrimmage, you cause some confusion on the offense, and that could be what happened there. As Union was looking to maybe adjust their blocking angles, and someone moved a little early. Because when they stop play, it's when someone moves in the interior of the line.
First penalty of the game against the Farmers. There was a penalty against Bayonne on their 2nd possession. However, that was declined. And a little bit of confusion in the backfield for the Farmers. As Keith Broomfield will now head out, split out wide left. Man goes in motion, and it'll be point de jour again. He runs right into Bullwith, bounces off, but Tony Freed is there to finish him off.
Union looking to sweep outside to the short side of the field. John Bullwith again, nothing doing. I think you're going to see Union stop running outside stuff to Bullwith's side, as he has been a terror. It's a fly, they call a fly sweep. The running back runs from the slot position. Ooh, Glover got away with a late one there. But great defense by Bayonne. They weren't fooled by the motion sweep, and they make the play. So good defensive stand right now from Bayonne. Big play now, though.
3rd down and 11. It was Point du Jour who picked up the 3rd down and long on the previous couple of plays, and now it'll be a 3rd and long again, and you would expect that Union may put the ball in the air, but they were able to eschew the pass earlier and get the first down. Now they'll throw it. Under pressure is Devlin, and he is tripped up across the line of scrimmage. It was Tom Kachansky who made the stop, and it'll bring up a punting situation for the Farmers.
Bayonne again slanting up front, John, and Kachansky getting to his area very quickly and shutting down Devlin. Devin panicked a little bit here. Wasn't very patient. There was a lot of penetration coming, but Devlin's the kind of guy, looks like he's not going to be able to juke and get outside. I think he's just going to head straight upfield. Great defense by Bayonne. A good scheme, too.
Actually, I should give that credit to Anthony Salerno, who made the tackle. Tommy Kachansky, number 33. Anthony Salerno, someone we didn't see too much of last year, but will be an integral part of what takes place on defense, and he was just there, making the tackle short of a first down. And a punting situation for the Farmers. First of the game, low snap, and Glover almost got there as Jesse Mays awaits the football. And he will let this one bounce down at the 23-yard line. So with 2:57 left to go, the Bees will take over. But one thing they seem to have accomplished, they have settled this football game down to a degree.
Yes, they have, John. They got shocked early, and they came out of it well. I'm really going to give a lot of credit to Darius Ho with his punters, because he helped to change the momentum a little bit. What Bayonne has to do now, though, John, is they've got to find a way to move the ball against Union. Their offense really hasn't done too much thus far. They need to put together a good, sustained drive. They're going to be a team, too, this year, John, who's going to drive the football more, or need to drive the football more, because they don't have the explosiveness of a Lord. So, this is a team that's going to have to grind it out. They're going to have a tough job tonight, John, because they've given up a lot of size against this big Union team.
So it'll be Daval Cheatham who gets the call again. Bowleth will flip-flop from the right side to the left side. Quick count. And it's Glover who plays halfback now, and he gets outside. He's got a first down. Bowls over a tackler. That's Devlin who was in his way. Out to the 38-yard line. First down, Bayonne.
Yeah, they moved Glover to the tailback spot, John. They paid dividends. That's something that John Rickett likes to do. He had done it with Clarence Bryant a few years ago. Let's take another look at it. It's just a straight power to the right. Glover getting a kick-out block by Christopher, which ended up being a hook block because the outside linebacker stepped down, which is what you're taught to do. So that's great execution from Bayonne.
First down of the evening for the Bees with 2.5 left to go and movement on the left side. Looked like it might have been Kurt Bullwith who wanted to get a head start on things, and that'll cost the Bees 5 yards. They can get a first and 15.
Something you want to avoid, John. It's tough when you're a grinded-out type offense on a first and 15. Although, Bayonne does have the ability to throw the football this year with Cheatham. He is inexperienced. But, sometimes we've seen kids come in here as the sophomores and juniors and make things happen early. So
Well, as a junior, he's certainly well ahead of what Jamal Lord was able to do in the passing department, but what Lord did carrying the football will be tough to top that, as it'll be Glover on the first down carry, picked up maybe 3. A late entry on the field that time was Alex Parker, just getting on time.
that was a straight isolation play to the left. Bayonne trying to catch Union in a pass defense, but nothing doing. Again, I reiterate, Union is a very solid team, John. Tremendous strength. This is a great program for years, and they don't give you too much.
Minute 51 left to go here. Quarter number 1 coming to you from the Don. Cable Vision of Mid-Jersey, the game of the week, the high school game of the week, and at the conclusion of this contest, Paul and myself will pick the Pammer Post Savings Bank defensive and offensive players of the game. Thanks to Judy McAuliffe and company. Cheatham under pressure, eludes one tackler, stays on his feet, and Cheatham able to get out to the 45-yard line on 2nd and 13. He picked up about 10, but made something out of nothing.
It's a nice call, too, I believe, Coach, John, by Coach Rickard. He ran the power to the right with success, came back with it to the left, makes the defense think that they're going to come with that to the opposite side, and then run boot action off it. And although Union did cover it, Cheatham made a great athletic play on his own and got outside. I tell you, when you have a quarterback that can move around in the pocket, it's very, very instrumental for your team. I think that's one area where Bayonne has a definite edge over Union.
Isaac Olden and Alex Parker check in. Jesse Mays will step out on the 3rd and 3 situation. They need to get across the 48-yard line, moving from the 45. Glover bounces outside, breaks off a tackle into Union territory, and another first down for the Bees.
Again, the power. John, a great job by Kachansky, lead blocking on that. Came toward the outside to kick out the outside man, and he was already taken, so he moved up next level to the linebacker and made the block. Watch, and then Glover. Kachansky was heading toward the end, saw he was taken care of, turned up the hole, got the backer, and Glover, with the strength and balance, does the rest. So great team blocking by Bayonne.
1st and 10 for Bayonne, 2nd first down of the game, and 2nd first down of the drive. Cheatham a little bit confused as the clock ticks with 20 seconds remaining. And now it's John Rickard, as he walks onto the field, calls timeout. First timeout of the contest taken by either team with 17.5 seconds remaining. And you can see a little bit of confusion, and that is likely to happen with an inexperienced quarterback like Duval Cheatham.
Yes, it is, John. And it's very difficult to. Got to give John Rickard and his staff a lot of credit to go in and alternate quarterbacks. It's a tough thing to do, especially as you said with inexperienced kids. You'll see colleges and even pros do this from time to time. It's a very hard thing to do, and that was the first mix-up they had tonight. So give them credit. I mean, that's a difficult. I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's a very hard thing to do, and they've excelled at it thus far until this point where John had to use a timeout. So things looking up right now for the Bees as Rickard talks to his troops. John, this is a team that had a very good preseason. They did a great job against a solid Don Bosco team. You saw what Don Bosco did to Hudson Catholic. Bayonne outplayed Don Bosco in their scrimmage. They've had a very good scrimmage season, and this is a team that I really feel is going to do a lot of good things as the season goes on. They got off to the bad start, but they've been playing excellent defense thus far, and now they're starting to move the ball on offense. So things are looking up.
And on the other side of the field, the Union Farmers, a team that's quite accustomed to winning seasons. As a matter of fact, 7-3 in most parts, cause for celebration, but not in Union. They are spoiled. Lou Rotino, of course, the great coach who passed away a couple of years ago. Many winning seasons, undefeated seasons. So quite a high standard. This would be a great win for the Bees if they could ever pull it off. And that pass defense nicely intended for Bullwood. Looked like it was on the money, but Picarillo got the right hand in just in the nick of time.
Yes, he did, John. And also there was a good job by the defensive line of the Union. He got some hands in the Cheatham sight lines off his first look, and he had to hold on to the ball. And then by that time, Bullwood was covered. So it'll be with the second 10 to get another look at it. It was a play-action pass to the fullback. And Cheatham looking for Bullwood on the out pad. And as you said, John, Picarillo made a very nice stop.
So It'll be second down and 10 yards to go for a first down. 13 and a half seconds left to go. Cheatham rolls out to his right, pitches for Glover, and he is tripped up nicely. Picarillo, man of the hour. That could have been big yardage if Picarillo had not made that play.
Well, it was the first time Bayonne really had the option pitch open job, but Picarillo closed real quickly. It looked like Glover was going to have some clear sailing, but Picarillo came in from the inside out and played that perfectly.
That signals the end of the first quarter, so a quick-moving first quarter, each team having the ball a couple of times at these three as you take another look at this play. And Cheatham also seems a lot more comfortable on the pitch play as he runs this one to the right side.
Yeah, that's the dive option, which is a little different than the freeze option because you run it a little bit wider. And then on the outside, Cheatham made a nice read. He was covered, got it to Glover. It was a good pitch, but Picarillo, as I said, took a great angle, great pursuit, and was able to shut down Glover on the outside. He did get a few.
Also want to mention, too, Paul, after you take a look at the sideline, the Bees, early season, a lot of times you have to be concerned with dehydration, but that should not be the case this evening, so that is certainly welcome. What wasn't so welcome was the prospect of this game possibly being rained out as Hurricane Floyd made his way north and dumped a lot of rain on this area, but give credit to the ground crew. John Rickard said this field is in the best condition it's been in since he's been the head coach, and they had yeoman's work ahead of them with all the rain we had.
Yes, they did, John. You know, the people behind the scenes, you never get any credit. The people who get the fields ready. Of course, God did his part with a nice, sunny, windy day today. We got to give credit to the people who work on this field. They did a great job of getting it ready for tonight's game. And a lot of teams were going to cancel games tonight. I know Dickinson postponed their game at Caven Point until Sunday. So that's turf field. So you know, some places not ready to play tonight, but they were ready here.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I think this game might have been dead for a while until John Rickard actually fought for it to be played. But nonetheless, the pitch this time to Parker. Parker working his way outside, and he will not get anywhere near the first down. That play taking a long time to develop and fooled no one as the Farmers make the play and Picarillo out there again.
No, John, but Phil Saladin did a nice job of at least allowing Bayonne to get back to the line of scrimmage as he made a nice block deep in the backfield to Spring. I believe was that Christopher?
Yeah, it was Alex Parker, actually.
Parker on the reverse. So they got a little something out of nothing. Union not biting on that fake again.
So it'll be Darius Hill, who's done a good job so far in his two punts. Now a chance to pin the Farmers deep to their own end. He stands at the 40, an excellent snap, and a wobbly end-over-end kick. And it is taken at the 20, cutting back to the 22 with Picarillo still on his feet and a good short tackle. That's Tony Freed who makes the stop at the 22.
Good job by Tony Freed. John Jesse Mays closing from the outside, made the first hit, but Picarillo was able to get around him, and then Freed came in, continuing to pursue and make a good play. Again, John, you can see the effectiveness of Bayonne special teams. They get a good snap, and this kid Hill, I know Kachansky had told me last year that he was going to be something, and he really is. Glover picking up as the personal protector, making a nice block. The one man from Union who came through was picked off, and Union, and the biggest thing, John, for Bayonne is coming down on coverage on that punt.
First and 10 from the 23, and they're given the backfield is swarmed under. Marion Reeves in there right away. It looked like it was Phil Lave who got the call, but he loses 3 on the play, and Marion Reeves, another new face on that defensive line, making a play.
Yes, Reeves, a new guy, as you said, John, coming through. Looks like Bayonne, again, shooting a lot of gaps defensively. Let's take a look at it. Actually, Reeves just playing his own gap. Didn't get much of a block on him and was able to scoot through. But, you know, even if you're not blocked, you still have to come through and make the play. And Reeves is right there at the right time.
Tom Bullwitz, who was the defensive coordinator, stepped down earlier in the preseason. And Chris Venezia being very aggressive, promised he would do a lot of blitzing, and he has so far. Devlin rolling out to his left, has nobody open downfield. Now will tuck it under his arm. He's got a first down at the 40, 45, and he is still on his feet as he steps out of bounds at the 49-yard line. But Mike Devlin with his first big play of the evening.
And Union running sweep pass to the short side of the field, John. It's a nice call because it's something that could catch the defense off guard. Normally you run a sweep pass toward the wide side of the field, And Devlin showed a little bit more running ability than I thought he had on that one, John, as he got outside. He had a great block, too, from his left guard, Mike Tobia. He buried somebody back there in the backfield. That's the key to the Delaware offense, though, John, really is the guard play. You are as good as your guard play. That's really what does it for you.
30-yard gain by Mike Devlin, and it's a 1st and 10 just inside midfield, and this play is comparted. Let's see who made that play. And it was Kurt Bullwith with the penetration. It was Paul DiFrancesco who got the call. He loses 5.
Yeah, Union trying to run a rock sweep now. You can see the fullback diving, and then sweep action, and Bayonne is all over it, John, as Freed in there, along with Bullwith and Salerno. Looks like it's going to be tough for Union to get outside of this Bayonne team.
One thing that's apparent so far, Paul, far cry from last year, the Bees seemingly able to handle the manpower in terms of what's taking place up front. Certainly not the case last year. And the quick hitter up front. And that goes for a little gain, maybe 3.
That's a good point, John, too, and I think a lot of that has to do with the dedication to the weight room. Bayonne doesn't really have that many. They're not really big players. Not too many guys with height other than Bullwith, but good strength, squatty type guys, and good speed. John, I'll tell you, as I go along throughout the years, I start to really believe that speed is actually more important than strength. Strength is important, but speed, you really can't teach that or coach it. You can improve strength, but speed is something that's God-given and really very important.
And another thing you can't teach is toughness, and this Bee squad, very tough. Now it's a 3rd and 14, the Farmers. Mike Devlin surveys the situation. Bees show blitz, the street is creeping up, and it's a play-action pass. Devlin under pressure, and he is sacked by gets away from Bullwith, but right there, Johnny on the spot, Anthony Salerno, check that, Marion Reed gets credit for the sack, giving assist to Bullwith.
It was a power pass, John, and one of the things that Bayonne's doing well tonight, John, is they're putting Union into predictable situations, forcing them to throw on 3rd and long, and tough thing to do, running off play action. You see, power pass right, play action to the fullback. Bullwith doing a great job, John, as he fights through the block on the outside shoulder, just the way you're taught. Let me tell you, this is a well-coached team, John. They do a lot of things well.
Looks like the Bees are going to come and try to block another one.
They got it.
And they did get it that time. Blocked straight down. Didn't see who got a beat. And the Bees will take over at the 28-yard line.
Once again, John, the special teams coming through big. They sent 10 people on that. Maybe we can get another look at this one, I'm not sure, but they sent the house, and they came up with it. Union was taking a lot of time on their earlier punt, and Coach Rickard and Assistant Tom Kachanski probably picked that up. And this time they came for the block, and you only have to go 28 yards. It's a nice thing.
Certainly is, and Joe Christopher may have been the man who got a hand on the football. There were a lot of red shirts standing around the punter, and on 1st and 10, it is Glover, who was snowed under by some big bodies. Ted White was up there along with Mike Lodato for the men from Union, and a 2-yard loss on the play.
Bayonne still not able to get the dive going, John, and it's very tough to run the option if you can't get the dive going. So, that's a big guy there, that left tackle for Union.
Ted White.
Oh, man.
And that was a whiteout because big number 77.
I don't know if I'm going to run it in too many more times. That's like Jim Parker out there.
That is not a fair fight. 4 minutes and 55 seconds gone by, 2nd quarter. Bees trail 7-0. But on the move now as they give it to Glover. He's able to crawl his way forward to about the 27-yard line. Minimal gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
Looks like a quick trap to the left to Glover. Let's take a look and see if we get... Well, actually, it was just a dive left. Didn't see any pull on it. But Bayonne seemingly has a little bit more success running to the left, away from Mr. White. So 3rd and 9.
So the ball stepped back a yard or two, and it will be 3rd down and 9. The Bees need to get across the 18-yard line of the Farmers in order to pick up a 1st down. Cheatham stepping to his left, and he's got Glover at the 20, up to the 15, and that's a 1st down at the 12-yard line for the Bayonne Bees.
Now they're taking a play out of my playbook. That's the play I love, John. Sprint out, A simple, very simple play to run. You send your back out of the backfield. You send your two wideouts on a combination route. 3 levels is what you get. And the outside linebacker, the big guy, Craigmere, is that his name?
Jason Creekmore.
Creekmore coming through, and you have to make him make a decision on that. He either comes or he stays. That time he came. Cheatham did a great job of getting it out there over him, and a big play for Bayonne.
So the Bees looking to cash in on the special teams play by Joe Christopher. A blocked punt got this started, and now it's first and 10 from the 13-yard line as they run out of the I. It's Kochanski and Hill in the backfield, and it's Hill who tries to follow the lead of Kochanski, but nothing doing on that one. It was stopped immediately, and the first man there was Phil Lave for the Farmers.
Union getting a ton of penetration from the inside, John. We talked about their strength and their size. That's something that doesn't change from year to year with them. They got a ton of kids, too. They were trying to go, look like ISO up the 3-hole. Actually, they had more pursuit from the outside on that play. Big Union from the defensive end spot. Coming through there for Union was number 44, Taji Alexander.
And that's true because it looked like there might have been a hole inside, but the outside pressure foiled the play. Drop back, now Cheatham throws it in the middle and almost hooked up with Bullwith. Dangerous pass down the middle late. Oh, a no-no most times, but he gets away with it that one.
Tell you what, John, he put the ball in there. That's a nice read by Cheatham off the pump fake. He was forced to pump it and then fired it. Got it in there, actually. Bull couldn't hold it. Tough look at there when there's 3 guys with their hands up. Take a look at this, though. It was a nice little pump fake. And then he found Bullwith there. And now he comes to the line. That's a tough throw, John. That really is. But he got it in there. And that's a heck of a pass.
Well, it makes it 3rd down and 9 yards to go for a first down. The Bees need to get down to the 3-yard line in order to keep this drive alive. Out of the I formation, back to pass goes Cheatham. Under pressure, and he is sacked at the 24-yard line. Coming from behind was Rob Ramirez, and Cheatham never saw him.
No, he didn't, John. It came firing off from the outside backer. Cheatham didn't see him, but I'll tell you what, John, had he checked back to his left, he would have seen Tom Kochanski standing in the flat. Off to the left here, but never really got a look at him because he was semi-rolling to his right, or flushed out to his right, it looked like. And had he been able to pick that up, Kochanski may have been able to take it in. But good coverage by Union off the original play.
And you can see Kochanski in the upper left-hand corner of your screen for a moment. And as Paul mentioned, he was wide open. And what that play does, in effect, it takes the Bees out of field goal range. They might have tried it. 3rd and long, going downfield, looking for Mays, and it's overthrown. Jesse Mays was very well covered on the play. Paul DiFrancesco, step for step. And with 4:06 remaining here in the first half, the Bees will turn it over on down and give credit to that Union defense for making the big play on 3rd down.
Yes, John. The only play they really gave up was the sprint out, which is something you may see Bayonne go to more throughout the game, because it looked like Union was a little bit confused with that scheme. However, the inside running game has been stuffed, and you can't get it's tough to get that option game going if you can't run inside. They have had some success with the power, though, so you may see them go back to that as well.
Union leads Bayonne by a score of 7-0. The lone scoring coming on the second play from scrimmage, a 46-yard fumble return by Jason Creekmer with 11:10 remaining, and that's been all. It's been evenly matched since, as it goes outside. DiFrancesco is tripped up from behind. Joe Christopher with the pursuit and the tackle.
DiFrancesco showed some nice balance on that play, though, but again, something that Union does not have, that I think that's an area that Bayonne definitely has an advantage in, that's team speed. He's not able to get around the corner. Very tough to run wide on Bayonne. Good penetration again, forcing DiFrancesco to alter his road. Salerno was in there causing some havoc, and Christopher coming up, getting a leg, and then also some help on the outside. So good team defense by Bayonne once again.
And the help was in the person of Darius Hill. Had Christopher not made the play, Hill was right there. And the pitch outside, tough one to handle, cutting inside, and nowhere to go. It looks like 2 Union players held each other up. Kind of awkward looking play. It was Picarillo on the carry, makes his way to the 25-yard line, so a gain of about 5 on that play.
That was a veer option, John. You run it from a split backfield. You fake it to the dive back. I'll tell you what, had they given it to the dive back, watch the hole here. Reverse pivot. If you take a look, if he gives it to the dive back, there's a big hole. It's a chance he was coming out on the quarterback. And luckily, the quarterback did not give it off to the dive back, and Union ran the option, but they don't have it covered. May go back to that later.
It'll be a third down, and now they say 6. Rolling out is Devlin. Glover's there with some pressure, throws it downfield, and it's intercepted at the 42-yard line. Darius Hill makes the play.
Sweet pass right. Good job by Hill, showing nice concentration coming off a pass that was through the hands of the receiver. As you see the Bayonne sideline now, once again the Bayonne defense carrying the load for them. And we'll see now if the offense can get it going. You can look at Coach Venezia there. He's the defensive coordinator and does a great job out of Annapolis, graduate of Annapolis, and where he played. Okay, that's going to be a great place to go. First of all, to go to school, and then to play for him. It's going to be a wonderful experience.
And he also played.
Good man.
And excuse me, Paul. He also played for Kevin Rogers, who is the offensive coordinator at Syracuse with Donovan McNabb, and is now working for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Oh, everybody has to make one mistake.
Rolling out to the right is Cheatham. He wants to run with this football as he'll make his way across the 40 down to the 39, but really not much room to operate. It was number 58, Hank Taylor for Union, who made the stop.
Again, Union showing a good pursuit on the outside game as well here tonight, John. Bayonne just has not been able to get anything consistently going. Let's take a look at it. We got some movement too. It was really quarterback sweep right is what it was. I think you saw Bayonne run off with Jamal Lord. But nothing doing here tonight as Kriegner is again in the traffic.
Number 7, Jason Kriegmer, but also give Hank Taylor a lot of credit out of the eye. Quick count. And Cheatham pitches late. It's Hill, steps inside, and he's knocked down at the 37-yard line, so not much of a gain on that one. And another third and long situation for the Bees with 1:22 remaining in the first half. They trail by a score of 7-0.
Give a good look at Cheatham talking to the coach. John, you said pitch late, but actually it wasn't a bad decision. Watch, because Cheatham realizes that early Glover is kind of covered. Then he forces that defensive end to commit to him. And, sorry, that's not Glover.
That was
That's
Hill.
Hill, and good relationship from Hill, too, keeping that spacing. So they got something out of nothing thanks to Cheatham's, actually his second effort, forcing that defensive end to commit to him and then pitch the ball.
Powwow on the sidelines as you take a look at John Rickard and also assistant coach Bob Nevis, who is no longer working with the freshmen. That'll be Pico Barrett's job. Want to remind everyone, Hammer Post Savings Bank, Paul and I will award an offensive and defensive player of the game for both the winners and the losers of tonight's contest. A plaque will be provided to them sometime in the future as we get our T's and Q's sorted out, getting the plaque. But it'll be Hammer Post Savings Bank who is sponsoring that and continuing to support Bayonne athletics and just athletics in general. Hammer Post Savings Bank and Mr. Bill Campbell, who's been so generous, as well as Judy McAuliffe. Judy's so nice every time that I call her, and so we're certainly grateful for that, and that's something that'll be a staple throughout our football telecast throughout the season. So Hammer Post Savings Bank, a name that you will be hearing once again in conjunction with the support of athletics, high school athletics, and also Bayonne athletics. Bayonne has called their second timeout, so they have one remaining. Union has yet to burn a timeout, so they have all 3 remaining. There's 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining on the clock. The Bees would appear to have the wind at their back, and they're faced with a third down and 7 yards to go for a first down. They need to get to the 30-yard line in order to pick up a first down. On the quick count, great drop back. Cheatham eludes the pressure, and Cheatham is hit, bounced backward to the 40-yard line, and it'll bring up a fourth down and long. And what do you do now, Paul?
That's why I'm not a head coach. Let me just tell you what happened on that play. It was a straight drop back, John. Probably the first time Bayonne's run a straight drop back. Cheatham did a great job. I'm going to get another look at this, I think. Cheatham did a great job of avoiding the ton of pressure that he had. made a couple nice jukes and almost got out. 1:05 to go.
The clock had not run when the play began, so now we'll...
All right, I was going to say, they're going to look at the same time that was up there. What do I like now? Oh, it's 4th and 8, John. Bayonne has not been able to run the football all that well. Union's coming hard, and they're rushing hard from the outside. Well, they may be able to pop a draw here if that's in their repertoire, off that straight drop back. But I think you're going to see something with Cheatham rolling to the perimeter here.
Myself, I would probably just punt, but I'm not a head coach. I'm not even a football coach.
You don't even mean assistant in that aspect.
Well, and you know, it looks like Union too is content to not force anything on Bayonne. So with Union not using their timeouts, probably not a bad gamble to go for it on 4th down, because there won't be much time left for Union to do much with it. Cheatham under pressure, sacked at the 46-yard line, and coming from behind to make the big hit was Phil Lave, and Union takes over.
Again, a lot of pressure coming from the outside. Bayonne just not holding up on the weak side of the offensive line, or I don't mean weak as far as the players, I mean weak in terms of strength of side. Take a look, and he came, really, there was Bayonne was actually outmanned on that, John, because Cheatham was semi-rolling right, and they had nobody assigned to that outside backer who came through and made the play. And when you're not touched, you got to make that sack. Shame on you.
Yeah, and a good job by Cheatham to hold on to that football. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 46. So now Bayonne needing to make a stop here. They don't want to go down any worse than what they are. And making the play in the backfield, a flag goes down. It was Anthony Salerno, and it may have been a face mask penalty. 21 seconds remaining. The clock stops with the penalty call.
Salerno's done a great job tonight. I know Buddy D was talking about him before the game. John, he is quite a player. He looked very good early here. You see him scooting through.
And it was a face mask penalty, by the way.
Playing defense. Yeah, he got a little hand in there. He had the play covered, too. That's a shame. The play was stopped. And Salerno got a little hand on the face mask.
Hope the fans enjoy the instant replay. A new wrinkle.
I'm enjoying it. I'll tell you, aside from that early miss, I think I was snapped right back into my bearings here.
Jim Burton and Francisco Saldana working in the back in the truck, doing all the hard work, as it were.
That's absolutely true, John. And I'll tell you, we're getting some great sideline shots from John Tooth, too. I mean, really, that's something that has been outstanding here tonight. All the camera work, we never have a problem here. Camera work always on the money, and instead, Francisco and Jim doing the hard work. We got the easy job.
And the clock is winding down, and that will signal as you hear the siren going off in the background, signaling the end of what was a very evenly played first half. And that'll do it for us for the first half of action, as the team's now meeting. I think that's the end of the half. Yeah, it should be.
Should be.
A little bit of confusion as the referee now coming over to talk to Bayonne. We may not be done yet. As you see, it looks like Rich Mataranti talking to the Bayonne sideline. And there is still some time left. Looks like the Farmers going back to their sideline.
That's interesting.
And we're trying to sort this out. It's 7-0 Farmers, and there can't be too much time left unless the clock should not have started after the penalty. So a delay of game penalty actually called against Union. That's a delay against Union?
Well, John, I'm sitting right next to the clock operator, Rich Travellini, and he tells us that there was a delay of game, so we're going to have an untimed down.
So that is not the end of the first half, and you would have to think that Union will probably be content to just take a knee.
Okay. Right. Okay. There was a defensive penalty, and the half can't end on that. That's the call.
And not certain what the penalty was against the defense. Aha.
Okay, there it is.
There you go. Having not snapped the ball after the face mask, and that pass downfield is incomplete and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. So after a false alarm, yes, we are done with the first 24 minutes of action here from Don Ahern Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're going to take our first break of the evening. We've reached the midway point. Union holding on to a 7-0 lead over Bayonne.
That in Cub Scouts you can do fun stuff like build things, go for hikes with parents, friends, and Cub leaders, learn things about nature, and of course there's yak wrestling. Just seeing if you were paying attention. And parents, do you want your son to be doing good things with good people while learning good values? Then check out the Cub Scouts. You'll be amazed at the fun things you'll learn and the friends you'll make. Join the Cub Scouts. Everything you want for your son and more. Check your local phone listings. After all, too much fun is never enough.
Third quarter just moments away from getting underway. 7-0 Union leads Bayonne on the strength of a 46-yard fumble return for a touchdown by Jason Kriegmer on the second play from scrimmage. Seemed like a miscommunication, maybe even a botched exchange. Picked up by Kriegmer. He ran 46 yards. Extra point was good. That was at the 11-10 mark, and it made it 7-0 as that one goes through the fingers of Paul DiFrancesco. Also want to make a note, we were corrected at halftime that number 20 is not Rob Picarillo, as is noted in the program in all the literature that we had received from Union, but it is Jasper Hankins. And Mr. Hankins, whose name would have been mentioned numerous times in the first half, very key to what Union did both offensively and defensively.
So we'll make it up to him here in the second.
And Union will start off 1st and 10 from their own 20. For the most part, Bayonne has been able to keep them pinned in on the other side of the field, their side of the field. And in a couple of moments, we'll take a look at some statistics after this first play as Mike Devlin comes behind center. He had a big 30-yard gain in the first half, but otherwise relatively quiet, as both offenses were. And the first carry, a give to Paul Lave, and he picks up 6 yards.
And Union starts out with just a straight isolation out of the I formation. Get a good play on first down. John, we get some halftime stats. Not a heck of a lot to talk about offensively. Bayonne 3 first downs, Union 2. Rushing yards, Bayonne had 14 carries for 46 yards. Union 13 for 38. We get another look at that last play. It was, as I said, an ISO. They did a full block on the line of scrimmage. Tough to do.
And to give this time is to Phil Lave as he broke out of the pack, got lost for a second behind his offensive line, and then bounced it out to the left. It'll be very close to first down yardage, and he appears to have a first down for Union.
Great second effort by Lave. Good balance. Of course, when you're low to the ground, that helps you a lot. Continuing with those stats, Union had 13 carries for 38 yards. Passing, Bayonne had 13 yards, 1 completion. Union, no yards, no completion. Big key stat here, turnovers. Union had 2, Bayonne 1, but Bayonne's 1 turnover was very costly as it resulted in the only touchdown of the game. Penalties, Bayonne 2 for 15, Union 1 for 5. And punts, Bayonne had 3 for 106 yards. Be the matchup around 33 yards a punt, and Union 2 for 25.
And it was a punt by Darius Hill early on in the first quarter that really tilted the field in the favor of the Bees and helped them play even football throughout the first half, or at least be in favorable field position. On the first down play, it's DiFrancesco slipping a few tackles, can't get away from Glover, and it's still Saladin who high-lows him and gets him up top.
Union throwing a few new wrinkles in now, John, some plays we haven't seen. That's the power from the Delaware set. Working it off tackle. Let's take a look at it. You see actually, it was a power, but it was tackle also pulling, double pull. Looking to kick out. Again, good penetration from the B defense and good pursuit. Joe Christopher doing a yeoman-like work out there from his cornerback spot.
Salerno also got a piece, one of the first men to make contact as the Bees show blitz free, creeps up along the line, and it's Devlin who dances inside, and then he is plowed under at the 34-yard line. He picked up about 3 yards, making it 3rd down and 7. Marion Reeves, the first Bee on the spot.
Christopher was in there again. Correction, Christopher's playing strong safety. Getting a lot of action here tonight.
9 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. The Bees trail by a score of 7-0. And at the conclusion of this contest, we will select an offensive and defensive player of the game, the Pamlico Savings Bank player of the game, and they will receive a plaque from Pamlico Savings Bank. A long way to go, however. 9:25 remaining, clock ticking, 3rd and 7, and it'll be number 1 who gets the carry. That is Greg Point du Jour, who had a big first down carry, a big third down carry that netted a first down early on in the first half, but not that time.
Again, the Bayonne defense coming up big. They're going to get the football back, and we'll see if they can move it once again. You may see them come with the block again, John. There's a tackle trap. And that's a pretty big trap, and you see drilling his man is White.
Jesse May standing back at his own 38-yard line. Union punter at the 22, awaiting the snap. It's a low snap, and he does a nice job to get it off. And it takes a bounce to Mays at the 38. He picks it up, heads upfield at the 45. He is snowed under by a host of white jerseys in there. Maybe a face mask penalty because really nothing Mays could have done, and the rest of the people around the area were all in white shirts.
What else could it be? Mays showed a lot of guts. Yeah. Taking that ball up into 5 or 6 people. He made a little juke outside. And, well, we've seen Jeff. He's been a varsity starter for 3 years. And, he doesn't back down from any challenge. Yeah, they're going to get the call on Union, so an early break here for the Bees.
Well, Dick Mataranti, as you commented off the air, a fine referee and his crew. That includes his son, Steve Mataranti, and also a few others that do an excellent job, and they have let the players play tonight. They have been on the spot, and seemingly every call that they have made, including the face mask, which some Bayonne fans thought might be questionable, but if you take a look at the replay, it was not.
Number doesn't lie.
And Cheatham gives it to Glover, puts his head down, and he bowls over Devlin at the 33-yard line. Gain of 6 on first down.
Glover doing a great job from the tailback spot, getting good work from his fullbacks, Kachansky and Christopher. That time it was Kachansky. Bayonne coming out. Again, the power to the outside. Kachansky with the kick-out block. You see Glover lowering the head and getting the extra yardage.
Glover not much of a finesse runner to this point as he just put the shoulder down. And it's Cheatham who pitches it to Glover outside. Tries to fight off Devlin, but this time the quarterback wins the battle, the quarterback slash cornerback. And Devlin brings him down by his shirt collar and stops him for no gain.
That was what they call a speed option, John, where the quarterback just takes the ball. We'll take a look at it. Takes the football. Okay, no, it was a dive option. I correct that. Dive option to the fullback. Puts it outside. Nice relationship. Regular taking the quarterback, doesn't make the play. And gets it to the pitchback. Glover, who's got a little bit of sailing, just around that corner, in a couple yards.
3rd and 3, Glover behind Kachansky in the right side of that line, and he seems to be very close, a little bit short of a first down, and riding behind the right side, Chris Holinsky and Brian Holinsky, the guard and tackle on that right side. They'll have a measurement, and it looks like from here that they will be about less than a half a football short.
Well, let's see if you're right on your first call of the year.
And you got to afford me a little bit of a curve here. It's been a while. And they bring it. Count, quarterback sneak, and he did not get much of a push. And as the side judge walks in, it looks like he might have gotten a favorable mark. And those plays are so difficult to tell.
Union came off the ball. Mike Tobia looked like caved the man over him, knocked him back. And that certainly caused a problem on the inside.
Well, the forward progress may have been enough. And that is a very difficult play for the side judge to try to mark because you really don't have anything to go by. It's just a swarm of bodies, and you have to try to keep an eye on where the push is. And this forward progress, looking from here, should be enough to get that first down.
What makes it tougher, John, is you got to mark where the ball is in relation to where the player hit the ground or or fell. And Bayonne does get the mark, and they get the first down for 29. I believe that might be their first, maybe second rushing first down.
Well, they did pick up one with Glover on their third possession of the game, and then there was also a passing first down with Cheatham and Glover hooking up. So now with 6:50 remaining, a first down, and Bayonne on the march, the 29-yard line of the Farmers. Long count by Cheatham, and he gives it to Kochanski, who has been used mostly as a decoy on that dive option. He gets the call, and he picks up 3.
But they go right to the dive. You said, John, as John mentioned, a couple yards on the play. Not bad on first down. Gives you the second and about 8. A little bit longer than you would like to have, but it's better than getting 0. As you get another look at that play, Kochanski just banged it in. Simple man-on-man blocking, and he gets what he can.
And that more or less is meant coach to keep him honest.
Oh, yeah. And another wrinkle, too, because they really haven't run the fullback much.
So that makes it second down and 7. Parker swung out to the far side. They're going to run the option. Cheatham steps inside and maneuvers his way across the 25 down to the 24. And that'll bring up a third down and a long 4.
Cheatham taking the option outside. He's got nice footwork, John. Nowhere near the straight-ahead speed that Jamal Lord has, but then again, who does? By the way, John, I've heard that Lord right now is the number 2 quarterback on the Nebraska depth chart.
Yeah, I think they switched. It was Newcomb, I believe, that they switched to tailback or fullback. So you may get a chance to play.
That was the load option where your fullback just takes off outside to try and get you a little bit of a crease. You don't run the dive on that play. You're just telling the defense you're coming outside of them. You don't try to constrict them like you do on the freeze. And third and 5.
Well, they gave him 2 on that, so it's third and 5. Cheatham to the right side, steps inside, has a chance for the first down. He's pushed forward, and it'll be short by a yard. He made it up to the 20-yard line. Needed to get to at least the 19, and it'll bring up another fourth down situation for John Rickard and the Bees, and of course they'll go.
Got terrific feet, though, John. Watch this. Watch the hip movement and feet off the boot. Gets a good block on the outside. Another good block. Gets it back inside. Isaac Olden in there making a good stick. Gets back upfield and gets what he can. The only thing he's got to watch now is hanging that ball out. Otherwise it doesn't get swatted away. But when you're out there juking people, it's tough to hold that ball in tight in the crook of your arm.
Well, junior tight end, as Paul mentioned, Isaac Olden with a good block. Fourth down and a yard to go for a first down. Cheatham fighting forward, and we'll see that final lean, and it is going to be very close again. It'll depend where the football is sat down.
Well, Bayonne went back to the dive option, and Cheatham just followed Kochanski up the hole. We're going to get another measurement.
That's very close.
Darn close. Go ahead, John. Let's see you do this one.
I'm going to guesstimate that he has got it
Well, I'm looking at Rickard's
by the nose of the football.
Rickard looked to me like he might have thought they were a little short.
Well, he needed to get to the 19.
Yeah.
So let's see as we'll check this out as they march the sticks out for the third time on this drive, and I think he's got it by just the tip of the football. And now you get a real close look.
This time you didn't. Well, yeah. What a call! Amazing.
So it's a first down, Coach.
Those carrots you've been eating again. Carrot juice. Well, you see, the fake to Kochanski, and this time Cheatham takes it up tight because he knows if he gets a little bit of a crease, it's enough for him to get that first down, and he finds it.
So the Bees grinding it out on this drive, picking up first downs twice on fourth downs. With 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, they trail 7-0, first and 10 from the 19 of the Farmers. It's Glover, he bounces it outside, puts his head down, and is then forced out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Clock stopping with 3:53 remaining.
Again, the outside power. Lead blocking from Kochanski. Bullwith. Down blocking, check that Olden, down blocking from the tight end spot. We get another look at it. You see the play is designed to, it's really designed to make it look like it's going to go outside, and then you kick out the outside defender and turn it up. Sometimes you catch him hooking, closing down. If you can hook him and you get outside, that's nice, but normally you got to turn it up inside the tight end.
Gain of 2 on the play. It'll be second down and 8 yards to go for a first down. Parker swung out to the far side by himself out of the I formation. Back to pass goes Cheatham, looking downfield. He pump fakes, now lobs one up and is almost intercepted. Bullwith got tangled up with Devlin, and that screwed up the pattern, and Cheatham looking for a spot where Bullwith would be, and he didn't end up there.
Bayonne running a lot more double tight, John, this half, with a wide flanker, and I guess that's because they want to just get some more balance with that power play, which has been very effective here in the second half. They're able to get down blocks from both sides now. On that play, Bullwith was covered all the way. I don't know what Cheatham was pumping for, because there was no way Bullwith was getting open deep on that.
That's about the third or fourth time that we've seen Duval Cheatham pump with the football, so wonder now if it's a design play or maybe a little bit of a hitch in what Duval does, but nonetheless it'll be 3rd and 8 out of the eye. Back to pass goes Cheatham, looking downfield for Jesse Mays. Touchdown, Bees! Flag goes down. There was a lot of pushing and shoving between DiFrancesco and Mays, and this one may be coming back. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't know, John, unless they call it both ways. Normally that goes against the defender. See, now they're going to discuss it. It was a simple fade pattern. Earlier they had it covered well, but this time Mays was able to break free. Maybe you got a better look at it than I did.
Well, it did look like they both pushed off, and it is going to be a touchdown according to Terrence Glover. The signal by Dick Matarani, pass interference on the Farmers. So it's an 18-yard touchdown pass completion, and we'll get another look at it.
Really a very simple play, John. Good protection. You need good protection on this play. It's a quick pass. Mays getting a little separation. Both players using their hands, but the Union player pushing off a little bit stronger. And Jesse Mays, that's a nice target there for you on that fade pattern. And Cheatham put it right there.
And take a look at Jesse Mays as the Bees have to use a timeout. Certainly didn't want to do that. They burned timeout number 1, going for an extra point. You see Jesse Mays, and Jesse used exclusively on defense the past 2 seasons, getting an opportunity to showcase his athleticism on offense, and he has the first score of the season for the Bees.
When you run that fade pattern, John, you like to have somebody with some height, and that's what Jesse Mays is in there for. The Bees working to a T. See now if they're going to believe they're going to go for the 1, but that is a mistake that they can ill afford, John. Wasting a timeout could come back to haunt them later in the game.
And this is obviously a very close football game, as it is 7-6, and now
we have a Union player cramping up too, so he'll have to come out for a play. That's Phil Lave, who has been very tough here tonight. See the Bayonne crowd getting into the festivities. The chill's starting to kick in here a little bit, John, as it normally does here at Don Ahern Stadium, or as our buddy Bob Anthony used to call, Candlestick on Newark Bay.
and we affectionately refer to it as the Don, as you take a look at the Bayonne band. Enjoying opening night here at the Don. And now an all-important extra point. The Bees have looked very sharp on special teams so far. And now we'll see if they can continue that trend as they attempt the extra point.
And they've got a few different guys that they use to kick, and they're going to go for, no, they're going for two.
They're going for two.
They're going for 2. They got a trip set to the right, something that they had not shown.
Cheatham rolls out to the right. A chance for the lead. Throws it, and it is incomplete.
Oh.
Parker went down for the ball a little bit low, and it popped out at the last second. And the Bees' 2-point attempt unsuccessful, and they still trail now by a score of 7-6. But they are very much in this football game with 3:39 left to go and quarter number 3.
Well, it's a bit of a gamble, John, but it's a good gamble because the Bees have dominated play since the end of the first quarter. And John Rickard is confident that his team can get down into the scoring zone again. But they've got field goal potential too. The only problem is that if they move into the fourth quarter, they're going to be fighting into the wind, which is blowing from left to right. We'll get another look at the TD play. Set a fade pattern. Very important that you look off on this. Cheatham really didn't look off too much, but he caught the defender tied up. He was looking at Mays all the way. When that defender's not looking back at the ball, he's going to be beat because he does not know when to time his jump.
And by looking at that, and sorry, Paul, you look at that replay too, as you saw DiFrancesco and Mays, it looked like Mays may have given the shove at the end of the play, but just prior to that, it seemed as though DiFrancesco had hold of his arms and in frustration pushing away at the last second. So the flag probably referring to the almost a hold by DiFrancesco, but nonetheless, the call was against Union, and the Bees are now within a point. 3:39 left to go here, third quarter. 7-6, the Farmers on top, and the Bees defense will go to work again. Cheatham, the high end-over-end kick. DiFrancesco backtracks to his 5, gets ahead of steam up to the 15-20, 25-30. DiFrancesco along the right sideline. It's now a foot race. DiFrancesco at the 40, 30. No one's going to get him. DiFrancesco, touchdown, 96-yard kickoff return.
Well, John, Union did the right thing. Bayonne runs that right hash kickoff. Union took the return and took it to their right, where Bayonne does not have the field covered as well. And they got a great block out there. Matter of fact, the player who got blocked is still down on the ground. They got two people. It might be Kachansky. So I saw 3 in there, so I'm not sure. They got a great block from their wedge. And last year we saw Union get off to a great start with a kickoff return, and now they may have turned this game around with another kickoff return.
15 seconds after the Bees close within 1. It's now back up to a 7-point lead and a chance to make it 8.
Football can be a funny game, John. You can dominate play for 2 quarters, hammer the ball against the team's defense, work your butt off for a touchdown, and then you give it all up in one play. DiFrancesco showed me some speed that I didn't think he had. He was pulling away at the end of that. Cheatham, who's got very good speed, wasn't even gaining on him.
And it's Kachansky who is going to be helped off the field.
He was hit by 2 players, John. 2 guys in that back wall. Union executed that return very well.
So Kachansky walks off very gingerly along the 30-yard line, heading to the sidelines. Coming in to attempt the extra point. Now, originally we had said, or I should say, I said David Fernandez, but again, another roster error. It was actually Steve Andriola, who is number 88, and he is set to come in to attempt the extra point, which would then make this an 8-point football game.
Union is going to kick, John. I was wondering if they might go for 2, but this way they force Bayonne to have to score twice. They're going to take the 1.
Well, this way they're guaranteed a tie under most scenarios. It's a good snap. There was movement on the line. And that's going to be probably a case where a penalty against you turns out to benefit you.
Well, let's see. It was blown dead before the snap even, so surely it doesn't matter. And it's motion on the interior line, so we're going to come back 5. This is still a fairly easy kick, but he is kicking into a win.
So the Bees blocking the extra point, but no play. And it's 13-6, so this is a big extra point.
Yes, it is. And it will assure a tie if Bayonne scores and gets 2.
The best they can hope for would be a tie. And they gambled and went for 2. Another good snap and another block. And that play is dead. So they obviously have found the hole on that left side. And it was Joe Christopher doing it again.
Came through like a bullet. Twice he blocked the kick. Once it was off the penalty. This time it counted. So it's 13-6. And now Bayonne in position. I think we're going to get another look at this. Okay, we're going to get the replay of the touchdown. On the outside of that back wall, you see great kick-out blocks. Actually, Kachansky wasn't blocked. He just missed the tackle. And here's where DiFrancesco turns it on. Saw that daylight. Vince Lombardi's talking about running the daylight. Well, that's what it is. You see that daylight, you smell the end zone, and you just kick it into another gear.
And Anthony Salerno unable to keep up with DiFrancesco. So a lot happening in the last 15 seconds of play.
Not just Salerno, but everybody else,
right,
too.
Absolutely. And Salerno playing a great game on the interior. And Bayonne certainly coming in having the advantage, you would think, on the outside speed-wise, but that time speed in the favor of the visiting Farmers.
You see Coach Rickett and Coach Kachansky, the special teams coach. And John's got to be saying to himself, John, Bayonne really has carried the action in this football game for most of it, and really 12 seconds worth of plays, 15 seconds worth of plays, and they're losing.
It is true.
A fumble recovery for a touchdown, because Union really hasn't done anything on offense, and a kickoff return. You got to say to yourself, wow, what's going on here? But this game long from over.
And don't forget, at the end of this game, we will pick an offensive and defensive player of the game, but maybe we should add a special teams player of the game, because special teams, as Bill Parcells likes to refer, the hidden yardage, and a lot of things happen, and particularly, as you would certainly attest to, first few weeks, special teams can be awful unpredictable.
Yes, they can, John. Yes, they can. But Bayonne does work hard at it. Do a nice job. As does Union. That's a great kick.
And it'll be Parker who takes it from the 7, dances past one tackler, but it was actually Kriegmer got a piece, enough of a piece to trip him up at the 18-yard line. So the Bees, with their worst starting field position in quite some time, with 3:18 remaining third quarter.
That's a great kickoff, John. Hem a team down inside their 20-yard line in high school football, that's almost unheard of. And I'm very impressed with the Union kicker on kickoffs. It's been outstanding.
Well, big plays made by the Farmers. A 46-yard fumble return by Kriegmer. A 96-yard kickoff return by DiFrancesco. The Bees have made some big plays on special teams. A blocked punt, but they didn't get much of a bounce as they recovered right at the spot where they blocked it. And a blocked extra point, which is a dead ball once it is blocked. So 1st and 10, Cheatham to throw, and that one behind Bullwith had a step on his man, and that pass is incomplete.
Sprint out pattern, a 2-man route this time as opposed to the 3 we saw earlier with Glover. Parker going deep, Bullwith going short, but Union had it covered very well. And you got to give them credit. That's a tough play to cover.
Jasper Hankins on the coverage. And it makes it 2nd down and 10. The Bees will be home again next week and the week thereafter, and we will be here. See the Bees take on the Memorial Tigers and the Ferris Bulldogs. Victims week 1, the Bulldogs were, of the Lincoln Lions, a 42-6 victory for Lincoln. On the option, pitch outside, tough time getting the handle, and nice job that time. I believe it was Glover who decided just to fall on the football.
Well, that's a counter option, John, and that's a nice play if you could catch the defense sleeping. And they almost had a step on it, but not a good pitch, and Union reacting very well. You can see that the Farmers have prepared very well against Bayonne's option game because they know it is a staple of their offense.
Now the Bees with a 3rd down and 10 yards to go for a 1st down from the 19-yard line, so they need to come up with a big play. Momentum certainly on the sideline of Union. They answered back the lone score of the Bees with a score of their own and a chance to take control of this football game if they can make a stop here. And as they say, the biggest point of the game is after the other team has just scored. Cheatham looking downfield, lobs one up for Mays, and Mays trips up at the 44-yard line as he got tangled up with Mike Devlin.
Yeah, but Devlin playing the ball all the way, so you're not going to get any call on that one. And Bees again pushed into a predictable situation, which makes it easy. That 1st down pass play was a nice call, but Union had it covered, and they give the Farmers credit too. This has been a real defensive struggle here tonight, and it's continuing that way. And right now, the team that made the bigger special teams play is winning the game.
Sean Arter, a late entry onto the field, and a good snap, and an end-over-end kick by Hill, and a good move at midfield, and just getting that straight-ahead yardage was Jenkins. Check that, Jasper Hankins, up to the 41-yard line. So great field position for Union as they hold on to a 13-6 lead.
A late flag went down too. I think it may be going against the Bees, John, and that would be very costly. Number 59 for Bayonne.
Chiaffo.
Dave Chiaffo was protesting a little bit, and I think that may be going against Bayonne. That would be costly. Let's see what the referee says. The Bees starting to walk backwards. Chiaffo is 5'10", 240-pound tackle and defensive end. A junior, one of those players on that good junior group.
Crucial portion of this football game, Paul.
Okay, no, it was but not a major penalty, John. It was I believe legal offensive player downfield on the punt, and Union will decline it.
Actually,
the position they have.
Paul, going back to that play at the end of the half, It was a face mask against the Bees. The clock started, and the play, you cannot end play on any penalty that is accepted, whether it be offense or defense. We kind of had that right from the beginning, but it was cleared up by Dick Mataretti. Devlin rolling out to the right. He gets the corner. Good recovery by Bullwith, but Devlin's still on his feet, heading toward the 20-yard line, knocked out of bounds at the 23.
Something that Union hasn't done here tonight. Let Devlin run with the football off a run fake. That was the veer option. Fake the dive, and they go outside, and Devlin showing his speed we didn't think he had once again.
And a timeout signaled on the field, and that will be Bayonne's second timeout, so they have one remaining, but this timeout certainly not to stop the clock, to stop the bleeding, because the Bees back on their heels, a little bit of shock on the sideline, the near sideline, after that long kickoff return by DiFrancesco.
Yes, that certainly seems to have swung the momentum of this football game, John, no question. You know, good teams like Union who win consistently every year, 7-3, as you said, was a letdown for them. You know, they predicate themselves on things like this. They get up on you, and then they know how to try and put you away. Many times they do. Bees are in a very tough spot right now. This is a crucial part of this game.
John Rickard, of course, smelling that on his sideline. Union, the scent of blood, ready to strike. And John Rickard now in his 4th season, and let's face it, he took over a program that it was way down after Don Ahern had done a great job for so many years, a legend in these parts, stadium named after him, and rightly so. And really not much left when John took over, but he's done a great job. 5-4, 6-3, and then last year 5-5. An expectation that he has, wanting to go to the state playoffs, and his team looking very well prepared tonight.
Yes, they are, John. They're prepared. Right now, they're just getting outplayed right now these last few minutes.
So on the first down after the timeout, it is Jenkins. Check that Hankins gets 6 yards.
Motion sweep, and Union's starting to take Bayonne off the ball now, John, for the first time tonight, really offensively. They're starting to win the war inside, and again, the Bees with their backs to the wall have to come up with some big plays.
Exactly what they need right now. They need something to turn the tide in their favor.
Take a look at that Union huddle, and you know, this really, believe it or not, by standards, this is a small Union team.
Yeah.
And you can see how big they are. Normally, they're a lot bigger than this, but they still have enough size to get themselves over the hump.
80 seconds remaining, quarter number 3, 13-6. The Bees trail by 7, and it's DiFrancesco, about 2 yards shy of a first down, but the clock will continue to run, and Union still moving toward that end zone.
Delaware sweep, which Union has not run all that often tonight. But on this particular drive, they seem to be clicking on all cylinders. And another point to make, John, is that Union does not have that many players who go 2 ways, and Bayonne does. And you know, Bayonne's only got 31, 35 kids on their roster, as you see the clock winding down in the 3rd quarter.
Union beginning to assume control of this football game, and the Bees needing someone or something to happen in order to stop that flow, because it's flowing not in the direction they wish. Half a minute remaining, 3rd quarter. Man goes in motion. Looked like there might have been an early start. And that'll be close to first down yardage. Jesse Mays in on the tackle, along with Kuchansky, who has returned after being shaken up on the kickoff return.
Union coming with the 3-hole isolation. That's a play over the years that you see North Bergen run very well. And you mentioned they did look like they were in motion, John. Yeah, and they did. They went on a quick count, and the fullback got away with one there. But another first down for Union. And right now, the Bees are going to have to make a stop.
And
do it for the quarter.
And yep, the clock will continue to run.
You see the replay on the, as I said, the 3-hole isolation with the fullback going behind the tailback. I'm sorry, the fullback going behind the running back. There is no tailback in the Delaware set.
So the 3rd quarter ends, and teams will head down now to the far end of the field, the south side of Don Ahern Veterans Memorial Stadium. As we've played 36 minutes of football, the Bees trailing 13-6. Things got off to a wild start. Second play from the scrimmage, and a fumble either on the snap or the exchange between the quarterback and the running back, and it was picked up by Jason Creekmer, who rambled untouched, 46 yards for a score. And at 11:10 left to go, just 50 seconds into the football game, it was 6-0 Union. Then Andriolo added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Union. The teams played to a stalemate throughout the first quarter, and really the rest of the first half. If anything, the Bees having a bit of an advantage as you look at John Rickard and Jesse Mays and Tommy Kachansky powwowing on the sidelines. Then in the third quarter, the Bees had good field position after a blocked punt, and an 18-yard pass from Cheatham to Jesse Mays with 3:39 remaining made it 7-6 after a timeout by Bayonne. Don't know whether or not John Rickard may have changed his mind after the timeout, or maybe it was just planned from the beginning. Maybe call timeout, seize the opportunity. Certainly not a bad move when your team is bidding for the upset. Decided to go for two, called a play that turned out was open but not executed to perfection, and it was 7-6. But the kickoff immediately following to DiFrancesco was returned 96 yards along the far sideline. Extra point was blocked, and we're at 13-6. First and 10, and DiFrancesco banging his way forward across the 10-yard line.
That was the tackle trap, which Union again has not run too much of here tonight, but they executed very well. And John, this team's been running a Delaware offense for as long as Lou Latino was there, which goes back into the late 70s, early 80s. And each coach who comes here continues with that offense, and it's a very effective offense because it's a lot of misdirection stuff. It creates read problems for your defense. All the cross blocking and cross action can confuse an inexperienced defense. Really hasn't confused Bayonne too much here tonight, but I think it's just brute strength where Union has had their advantage.
Second consecutive series where it would appear that Union is winning the battle up front. A 2nd and 6 from inside the 10-yard line. They need to get down to the 4-yard line of the Bees on the march, looking to extend their 7-point lead. Devlin rolling out to the left side. Mays is out there. The stutter step buys him some time, and is he in? Touchdown Union.
Great stutter step, John, as you mentioned, by Devlin. Union lined up what we call a Louis formation. You can look at Rickard. I'm very happy right now. He's next to him. There's a Louis formation, and they ran a power fake with the fullback leading the running back. And Devlin kept it, got outside, got on the perimeter, and he's done some nice things tonight, John. He certainly has improved over the last year, particularly in his running ability.
It's little Andriola who comes out to attempt the extra point, and he can make this a 14-point ball game. Now 19-6. Andriola steps it off 2 steps to his left. Last extra point was blocked twice. First one called back after a penalty, and he gets this one off quickly and true through the uprights. And the extra point is good. It is now Union 20 and Bayonne 6 with the 11-12 remaining in quarter number 4. So the Bees really needing to do something on offense as you take a look at the touchdown run by Devlin.
Great fake by Devlin. The fullback went banging in there like he was getting the ball, John. Devlin got around that perimeter, as you said, put the little stutter step on Mays, and just a great effort to get into the end zone. And a touchdown call. Bayonne now with their backs to the wall, less than a quarter to go, although it's certainly not out of the question. You know, I mean, we've seen a lot of. Was that extra point made, by the way?
Yeah, well, I thought it was made as well.
6 on the board. Well, we thought it was good.
And the extra point was good. So
okay. Ball straightened out now.
Ball straightening out the clock operator.
So it's 20-6, John. And what do you do? Well, you come back and you try and get a good return of your own. Except now with the wind at Union's back, it becomes a lot easier for a kickoff to result in a touchback. So let's see if these can get a return on this kick.
Well, if you're a Bee fan, you have to feel somewhat more confident than you have in the past in the ability of the Bees to come back using the passing attack. This is a much more balanced offense than we've seen the past, well, I'd say last year, the year prior. A little bit of a mix, but still mainly a running team as the Bees are now, but they can throw the football. And they will have to go to that air attack now in order to get back into this game, as that kickoff is boomed again about 3 yards shy of the back of the end zone. It'll bounce through. So the Bees will have to negotiate 80 yards worth of real estate if they want to get back into this football game.
Can't tell you what a commodity that is, John, to have a kicker who can put the ball in the end zone or inside the 20 or anywhere he wants to. This Steve Andriola, he's something.
And a little quarterback controversy, the two-headed quarterback, that idea went right out the window after the second series. And it's been all to Val Cheatham, who has done a very nice job. Let's take a look at Bob Nevitt.
One of the real gentlemen around, John. Always very helpful. I mean, just a great, great guy for many years here in Bayonne. Was an assistant at Hudson Catholic for a few years, and I've known him a while, and can't say anything but nice things about him.
Glover out to the 24-yard line, and of course Bob's son Eric, a basketball player, and also I believe he's on the football squad.
Yes, he is. He was just on that kickoff return.
Yes, he was. A wide receiver, a guy who looked a lot like Harold Carmichael.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
See the replay. Glover, again, going off tackle, getting a few, getting some good tough yardage here tonight. Bayonne's had pretty good success on first down, John, and especially in the second half. They have moved the football, just that they got into a hole here now. We'll see if they can dig it out.
Second down and 6 yards to go for a first down. Quick count. And this time Glover has nowhere to go. Lodato is there, and I think number 77, Mr. Ted White. And he is truly an avalanche. That white jersey, Ted White. Not a lot of room to run when he gets that penetration.
These have gone back right now anyway to putting Glover at the fullback spot. You know, you might say, well, you know, that's kind of predictable. Yes, it is, but if it's working for you, you go with it. They did it with Bryant 2 years ago, and he was sensational at it. So, you know, sometimes, hey, tell a defense, this is what we're coming with, but the kid can get the job done. It doesn't matter.
Bees go with 3 wideouts to the right. They're going to run the option. Cheatham, the pitch to Glover, and he's got a first down, head of steam, up to the 38-yard line. Great pitch by Cheatham. Great call by Rickard, and it's a first down for Bayonne.
They call a crack option. Actually, your flanker or wideout cracks back in on the defender. Someone's down hurt. Glover, not hard to say right now, but a nice little wrinkle, something else that Bayonne has not done here tonight that they do right now. So, I mean, John's put together quite an extensive game plan. There you see it. It's basically a load option, but you crack back with your wideout. Get your fullback out on the perimeter.
Glover just doesn't know how to avoid contact.
He's a terrific player,
He
John.
is excellent.
He'll be back in. You know, we talked about the bloodlines with him. Rich Glover, the former Giant, I believe it's his uncle. Comes from a long line of very good athletes. And he's another one, and before he's done, may end up being the top of all.
Well, the Bees pick up a big first down, Paul, out to the 39-yard line with 9:32 remaining in the contest. Down by 14, 20-6, but by no means out of this football game. Need a big play or two to get back into it. And they will go to the air again. Cheatham under pressure is able to unload it, and a little bit high over Parker's head. Parker was open for a while.
Union came with an all-out blitz, especially from the left side. They sent the inside and outside linebackers. Thank God they sent them from the offside. Otherwise, Cheatham would have been in very big trouble. And had he completed that, John, Parker would have, maybe with one or two moves, could have broken that. There was nobody else back in coverage, but Cheatham not able to make the completion.
Well, the Bees have played a very good football game here tonight. Certainly would be considered in their neighborhood of a couple of touchdown underdog. Certainly not for the sake of...
Don't forget, John, this Union team, they're probably a top 20 team once again. Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of.
And a bullet pass up to midfield and across. And let's see who made the catch on that one. That was number 19. Oh, that was Mays, I guess. Number 18, Jesse Mays.
John,
Mays having a big day receiving the football.
That's a great pass, too, running away from your dominant hand. semi-rolling to his left, throwing a bullet. This kid is going to do some nice things, I think, before he's done here at Bayonne. I'm impressed.
These are on the move. They've pieced together 2 first downs. Now in Union territory with 9:05 remaining. 3 wideouts to the right. The lone back in the backfield is Glover. And the give is to Glover right up the middle. Stutter steps at the 45, and he's pushed forward to the 43.
Nice call by the Beaks. They go trips right, spread the Union defense out, and then they run the football up inside, up the gut. And you get 7-8 yards on first down. You know, still a little bit, almost 9 minutes to go in the game, and still plenty of time.
The Bees won't have too many chances to possess the football, so it is imperative that they come away with a touchdown each time they have it now. Down by 2 scores. Clock winking. 8:25 remaining. 5-man front. Union almost jumped. Back to pass goes Cheatham. Goes outside, now throws a pass into the middle of the field. Jesse Mays on the curl pattern, sat down at the 32, and the football hit him right between the numbers.
John, this kid can rifle the football. I'm thoroughly impressed. He throws on the run very well. I mean, he put the ball right on the numbers here in his last 2 passes. And on the run, it's very hard to do. He runs that sprint out as well as anybody I've seen.
And Coach Zakovich has seen enough